So hey, good morning. This is Michael with Back to the Future Trading. Today is February 20th, 9:11 a.m. Eastern Time here in the glorious third-story attic of the East Bend bunker in North Carolina. We're looking at the Emini DOW, and that's been a market that I've been tracking here for a while, and I honestly believed that this last run here would continue down into a lower low. And the market rallied up actually opposite that into the next predictive timing signal here on the 15th. So I opened up the charts this morning and I was trying to recalibrate and figure out, because usually at least 2/3 of the time we get that general target and direction right. But when I opened up the charts again today on the end of day side of things, I saw that we had this double top with the stop run here right at the selling pressure signal on the 15th, and then yesterday on the 16th we had a doji day. So when I usually see those patterns, this is the stop run candle. In essence, the banks are luring people back up into this euphoric state. And right here, for example, when you see these kind of big huge days, people look at that and are sort of irresistibly drawn to it. But when you're coming into these selling pressure days, these are places where banks are taking profit and reversing positions down into the selling side. So as the retail traders are being sort of lured in at these breaks of the highs of previous days, brokers are calling their customers, hey, you got to get in on this, buddy. We're going to go all the way up to 27,000 now. Sky's the limit. And there's just a tremendous buying surge. Well, they're buying from people who are selling. And in this case, this pattern where you have a predictive signal is telling us that the banks are most likely selling into this move. So I'm going to pause the video now and go down to the Dow on an intraday level and look for selling pressure signals between 9 and 10 o'clock to capitalize on a low risk entry with hopefully a large runner here on the Dow. We'll catch maybe $200 or $300 or $400 worth of a move. Let me show you what that looks like. Okay, so over here I've got my timing signal map for the morning on the Dow, and I've got my active patterns at these times also engaged to tell me when to look for reversals at key times. And I'll be watching. The open here is coming in about 13 minutes. I'll be watching for signals at 9:28, at 9:38, 9:52. And so one of the three of these, more likely than not, the 9:38 signal, which will be a selling pressure signal, forgive me, is a time that I'll be watching for a potential breakdown. I'll also be looking at this white dot here at 9:28. In essence, I want to see a move at 9:28 to the upside. I want to see price, wherever price is, move up and away from wherever the close of that candle is. But if I start to see it come down and form new lows at 9:28, it tells me that the banks have withdrawn their buying pressure forces from that area. They've essentially shut down the algos, told their pro traders, hey, we don't want you to defend the position right here. Let it drop until at least 9:38. So we'll be looking for low risk setups as we get closer and closer to that open. One aggressive way before the open, which is pretty aggressive this close to it, when you see a pattern 4 like this, you have a 9:14 signal with these two pattern 4 signals indicating a potential reversal upwards at that time. If we have a break of this low by 2 ticks, so that would be 25.20, that would be a potential opportunity to short that market as well. So we'll be looking for those signals shortly. I'll reactivate the video as we get closer to these times, but you can see here the times are already waiting for us: 9:28, 9:38, 9:52, and we'll see across the three of those if I can't catch a good setup. Alright, so you see where I drew that orange arrow? Here we are at 9:32. just waiting for things to happen. I'm not gonna have the video the whole damn time running, just to kind of respect your time here today. But at 9:28, that's what we were expecting, right? And so that behavior pattern alone, if we were taking trend entries, I would be watching for a close above the moving average. I'd be long right here at 25.66. I'd have my stop right below that white line. And if I draw with my 2-to-1 risk-reward ratio, just to stop below the low right here, the 2-to-1 risk-reward ratio, if I entered at the close of that candle with a stop just below the low of the low that crossed above the moving average, we'd be out right around here in the 105, 104 area at 200% of our risk. It's now at 300% of the risk-reward right now, and so that's a pretty strong indication that this time is going for it. So one of the things I'm watching for now, we've created a euphoric mood, right? So I'm looking left to see where are the stops. You know, where are the prior areas where people have said no mas? And we've broken through the ones from this morning here. Pop through that one right there. And I'm looking for other places where the banks could trap people, right? So that's 25,100. There's another one here at 25,116. I'm just going to kind of remind myself, where are people going to be led into a slaughter? Right, and this isn't something you necessarily have to do, but I find it's pretty interesting. Let's go ahead and use the horizontal line tool. I hate the rate feature of NinjaTrader. It's just hard to get it to lock on. And here's another area right there. So these are all the places where stops have been put in. And now you can see as we come into 9:38, where people are convinced that they've broken structure, and now it's time to get involved. So coming into 9:38 here now, I'm watching. This is totally counter trend, but I'm looking for that kind of end of day bigger trend. We should be dropping down from here. So the banks will create these euphoric rises. Okay, so we come up here into 9:38, and now I'm watching to see, hey, are they gonna, and most likely will, punch through that high before we get to 9:38 and get as many people here on board on this soul train of euphoric love before they rip the hearts and minds and souls from retail traders all over the world here at 9:38, and we're just counting it down. A lot of times what I'll like to do is I'll just make sure that my computer clock is totally synced. I'll go to my internet time, go to the NIST setting, National Institute of Standards and Time, make sure that my computer clock is synced up, which it is. And now I'm just waiting for 9:38. So it's 9:36 and 20 seconds. I've got a minute and 40 seconds, 100 seconds to wait to test with a low risk entry when this thing is going to reverse. I sort of already know that they're going to come and try to pop this high. It's the closest one. It's a big one too. If you kind of shrink it up, you'll see that structurally these highs right here, there's 1, 2, 3 of them all in a really close area. Plus there's the resistance now of this whole nightmare mess up in here. So it's as good a place as any. It's already been rejected once. My guess is they come up and just lure people a little bit higher into the this 150, 160 area. But we'll see. I've got 1 more minute to go for that candle to close. You can see I'm on the blue dot here now. And I think they're going to go for it. I think they're going to just do one more big push up and really suck as many people as they can into it. So this whole time, I've got 30 seconds left. I'm going to put a sell limit order up here.
Order pending.
Going to have that ready. I'll go ahead and spread this out on the chart so you can see this is the time that I'm expecting the selling to occur. Watching the time count down, I've got 7 seconds left. I'm going to start getting ready. Push, 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 push. And I'm dropping the order right there where the candle closed at 132. Missed it.
Order filled.
Okay, so now I'm filled. I'm going to put my stop just above that blue line. That's sort of my line of no return.
Order pending.
I don't want to see it go much further past that, because if this is the time that they're going to drive down, then I sort of intuitively want to see them push price further and further away. Okay, so I had a little bit of delay because I'm recording here. It eats up a little bit of my CPU, so I should be in at 129, 128. I got in at 126. I'm okay with that. If I'm employing a 2-to-1 risk-reward ratio, I want to have a fib right here, and I want to be watching for an exit down here at the 200% fib. And I'm going to put a buy limit order right there and just sort of wait and see if they can get down that low. Over here to the right, you'll see that I have another time coming at 9:52. Right? 9:52 is the next time. So there's a couple ways to approach this the way I'm looking at it. They didn't punch the high yet. So this is an area that I could get punched out in. So there's a few things that they can do. Number one, they can drop this thing all the way down. This was the stop that they took out. So far we've been up, what, $40, $50 per contract. Not the big move that I'm waiting for. They can come all the way up to this red zone, trip out that last stop, and then come back. If they do that, if I do get stopped out here, I'll come back and I'll look for a puncture of the low. Okay, so this might be one last hurrah up into the stops. But if they do that, they'll take out my stop here. I'll wait for them to punch out the high one more time and then come back into this low, and I'll have a sell order sitting here again with a reasonable sized stop. So we'll wait and see. Okay, we're up $70 per contract right now. Let's see if they go down even further. There's 80. We got a blip into the 85-90 area. So waiting for that time right now, I'm kind of vindicated in the sense that I was looking for the market to do nothing but go down at 938. Now it becomes a question of risk management. We're back down into $85, $90 per tick. My break-even component is down here at the 150% range, 25,099, 25,100 area. So depending on how aggressive you are with your money management rules, you can come in and do things like put your stop above the high of that candle. You can, now we're at $100+ on the trade and so on and so forth. But this is exactly the time that I was looking for that move. You can hear that my voice, I was very patient. There's no stress. There's just waiting. I have my risk to reward ratio deployed there properly. I know what I'm doing. Okay, so now I'm break even on the trade. And this is a great example of waiting for the time as opposed to reacting to what the banks want you to do. So we'll be talking more about these kinds of setups over the course of the week. I'm going to be giving out the forecasts for a bunch of futures markets in the meantime so that we can come back on Thursday and track and see what happens at these times that are knowable out into the future. I'm the only vendor in any of the ecosystems that I'm a part of, any of the partner programs, any of the platforms that I develop for. I'm the only vendor who's giving you the times in advance and telling you when to watch for these moves. So excellent setup, excellent trade. I don't care if it hits the break even or the target now. I found the time that I was waiting for this move to occur. Highly counter trend. We generally try to avoid those whenever possible. Break even's taken out, but again, I knew what to look for at 9:38, and we caught the banks doing it. I fully expect them to come out and hit that stop one last time before they drop down into 9:52. I do, however, teach trend entries, and so I don't want to be the guy who fights the trend. So again, so far the two verified entries this morning are long right here on the close of this candle because of the buying pressure signal, waiting for that close above the MA, long until the 9:38 signal. Aggressive counter trend short. If it closes below the moving average, that would be a potential entry for me short. The next possible trend entry long would be breaking the blue line. So if we were trading trend signals, I would be essentially asking, when is the selling pressure over? When have the banks withdrawn their forces? And as of right now, we're not anywhere near that blue line, but we could have a buy limit order or a buy stop right here, waiting for a punch up, a re-accumulation phase to end the consolidation dropping out, and then the uptrend resuming. But as of right now, we haven't seen that. We're seeing that selling pressure that I told you at the beginning of the webinar that I'd be, not the webinar, this recording though, based off of the daily signal, what I was anticipating happening today. More stop runs, more dramatic selling moves, and look at that huge candle down there. Took out my break-even stop, but now almost down, touching the target. It's been nothing but selling pressure since 9:38. Thanks for watching this video. This is just a taste of what I can teach you to do, what I'd love to show you how to do, using what I believe to be the most powerful predictive indicator for day trading futures, forex, or equities. Looking forward to teaching you more. Keep watch for the videos, keep watch for the emails that I'm sending out with the forecast for the rest of the week, and please attend our webinar this Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern. There she goes. Woo! Wait. There's one more setup. Check out the charts. I just got a signal at the next time telling me that the next selling pressure down move was coming. Look at the video. Alright, I thought the video was over here, and I just wanted you to see when we came into the next time at 9:52. Can you see how the software put those two white arrows just here? And in the upper corner, you'll see there's a number 5. That number 5 and these two white arrows are telling me, listen, this is a time-based pattern known as a pattern 5. And when we see these patterns occurring in the way they do at this time, the market has a tendency to go down instead of up. And that's one of the advantages of the time warp system, one of the reasons why I like it, because it has that built-in intelligence to it, right? So if you had your stop here and your 2-to-1 target down here around 200%, you would again be, once you're at the 150%, you're now at again another break-even position in the market where you've just now found both of the times where the banks were going to try to push price lower. Again, we have no idea if it's going to sustain that move, if it's going to go all the way down to the target, how far it's going to go. But these times, again, I was getting ready to post this video. There's the target, number 2.
Order canceled.
So first time we came all the way down, almost at the 200 before the break-even pullback took us out. Second time, again, waiting for the selling pressure signal. I knew where to get in, and I saw the pattern 5 signal. I'll show you a quick screenshot of what that looks like. So here's that book I give out every week, right? At the webinars and in the emails and everything I send out. And the software has basically been programmed to automatically tell you, hey, when you get to a pattern 5, when these conditions are specifically met at a buying pressure time, the banks tend to run a selling pressure play instead. So if a buying pressure time occurs at a higher high, the market tends to do what I'm kind of showing here on the screen, right? So I want you to compare what just happened at a higher high, pattern 5, to what's occurring over here at 9:52, right? So I knew to watch for that time. Now we're coming into 9:56, and I'm expecting even more selling pressure at that pattern 2. I'm expecting to see banks push price even lower, which is what's happening. So all of these things, again, are happening at the times that I told you about at the beginning of the video, at the beginning of this training session. And I hope it inspires confidence. I hope it affirms your understanding and belief that the banks are, in fact, rigging these markets. They're behaving like bullies, pushing price at key times, luring traders into false positions, using euphoria, fear, and greed to drive those behavior patterns. We knew to look for selling pressure coming in. We knew the times to watch for those selling pressure moves. And if you took a trend entry here, just at the open, you had as big a move up as you did going down. Thanks again. Sorry to interrupt. You were almost there, but I wanted you to see the second setup and show you that we knew the times, and we knew how to enter, we knew how to exit, we used proper risk reward proportions, and now it's just watching people's stops get hit on the way down. And it's sad because everybody that bought on the way up now is having to tell their spouse that the kids can't go to Disney World this year because the banks did it one more time. So appreciate you watching. Spread the word. Tell people that you know you can use the bank's tools against them. Take care, everybody.